Up in the ring, Boyd Pierce is ready to introduce this event to you. Let's pick him up.
2 out of 3 falls with a 1-hour time limit. In the red corner, 240 pounds from Florida, Dick Slater. And across the ring, 220 pounds in the white corner from Los Angeles, California, Alberto Madril. Your referee, Danny McShane.
So, this match, 2 out of 3 falls with a 60-minute time limit. Dick Slater, Southern States champion, tough customer. He has been champion of the state of Georgia, champion of the state of Florida, and then the Southern States champion, and he claims that Texas is a southern state, and therefore he should ipso facto be recognized as champion of the state of Texas. Standing arm lock as Madril now maneuvers into a position to slam him down to the deck, and the hold is an arm bar. Now Slater's a colorful character whom many people compare to Terry Funk, and since Terry Funk is rated as the toughest of the Funks, it's not a bad comparison. Winglock as he maneuvers that arm around. He's back to the bar, which doesn't mean much to you, but it means much to Dick Slater. Solid move. And oh, how Alberto Madril caught him that time and whipped him around. Dick Slater, man who is as well known at the Omni in Atlanta and in the huge arena in Miami as he is in New York City. He's a well-traveled individual, and his comparatively short career here in the state of Texas, he's only been here a few times, he has made a lasting impression. Dick Slater caught in the arm lock as Madril is backed up into the ropes, where Slater is hoping the referee's going to break it, and break it he is. And watch out for Dick Slater. He has a propensity for suddenly switching styles, and he can become a buzzsaw almost immediately. Oh, how he caught him and how he whipped him. He's beautiful maneuver to slam him down to that deck. So Slater, his hand is starting to turn as white as that bandage that's on it from what turns out to be a lack of circulation as the hold is tightened up and plied. You're getting a look at his face underneath that other taped portion of his body. I'll tell you, he goes in that ring with knee pads, elbow pad, wrist bandage on one hand. And Madril caught him well. And look out, you could have a fall here. He's trying to wrap him up. Whoops! Alberto Madril took advantage of his long legs that time and was able to whip him over. And Madril's going for the wrap up. There's one, there's two, and Slater did it that time. Quick move, nice move by Alberto Madril. I'll tell you, they both avoided what could have been sure pinning holes. And Madril, as he hangs on to this one, must be aware that he came awfully close to being pinned And I'm sure that underneath, even though he's caught in a hole, Dick Slater has much the same feeling of gratitude for the good fortune he had in getting out of it. And Dick Slater just climbed over that rope, and now Madril just dragged him back in over it, and McShane is just letting it stand. Actually, Slater was entitled to a break as when he did make the outside of the ring, no matter how he made it.
5 minutes.
But at the 5-minute mark here, Alberto Madril does not have the total advantage. Dick Slater, first chance he has had to uncork anything, because Alberto Madril has kept him busy and has worked in on him. And there is a nice escape, a move reminiscent of Lou Thesz, and Alberto Madril comes up with a hammerlock. And Dick Slater is caught, and caught for sure. Madril getting the go-ahead from these fans. One more. They raise the hands all over the ringside here in the Coliseum, egging Alberto Madril. There you see him responding as those fingers go up in the air for one more. Of course, it could mean that Madril is number one. He's the number one challenger for the world's junior heavyweight title. He has lost some 10 pounds in the past 2 weeks in order to qualify for his match with Nelson Royal, the world's junior heavyweight champion. Oh, how he clobbered him. And now Slater, for the first time, is able to get something going. And by getting it going, he was able to come up here with a similar attack to the one that Madril was using by working after that arm. Oh, this is a tough customer. So Dick Slater, who is known for his dangerous and damaging moves, is uncorking those same moves on Madril. Madril averted the fall that time, but he is still in troubled area. Now Madril that time, I think, did a smart thing. I wouldn't accuse him of anything, but I think he deliberately went outside that ring because things were moving against him, and he felt that out there he'd have a chance to come in just a little bit fresher and a little bit better. It doesn't always work out that way. And in this instance, it is not working out to Madril's satisfaction. That was the back of the arm, the point of the elbow he was aiming for. And Dick Slater rolling Madril over and piling on top of him. The count was 2 when Madril moved his right shoulder and managed to get it up, and he fought his way out of it by using that knee in the head. Slater now trying to cut. Whoa, good move by Madril. Listen to that crowd come alive as Slater's plans to cut Madril to pieces did not work. Alberto Madril comes in to really pound away and give Dick Slater fits. Madril, they're being told off by Danny McShane. McShane telling him to let Slater out of the corner. Well, it never did quite work. He couldn't put the instructions into focus with Slater taking the top hand. So we've got Slater looking, oh man, that hooking of the leg and taking the arm at the same time, falling back with your opponent is a sure way to drive him into the canvas. And it drove Alberto Madril. 10 minutes have gone by as Slater comes down there to clobber Alberto Madril, but Madril can do his own clobbering. And he is doing his own clobbering. And he is picking his spots. And this could be it. There's Madril on top. There is one, there is two. We're still in the first fall of this match, and Madril just missed an opportunity that time. A few more wallops may take the balance of the fight out of Dick Slater. Slater will meet the same kind of an opponent in the Coliseum this afternoon. A young man like Dickie Slater, a young man like Alberto Madril, I beg your pardon. And Madril will meet a man like Slater in world's champion Nelson Royal, junior heavyweight champion. Royal probably does a little more wrestling, but he is equally as tough. Slater going for a pile driver, but he is caught in the back body drop. That's the defense for that particular move. Dickie Slater caught it right on the tailbone, but as Madril moves in, there it is. He caught him with that cradle hold and wrapped him up. And
the winner
Slater
of the first ball, 11 minutes, 36 seconds, Dick Slater.
He did something for which he is famous, coming up with the surprise wrestling move, the pinning hold, and just when it looks like things are toughest for him. We'll be back here in a moment after we have this word from the studio. Well, this crowd has been pounding out a rhythmic applause to Alberto Madril, and much to the irritation of Dick Slater. Now, Slater is one fall ahead, and Slater is in a good position. But the crowd here was just getting under his skin. And he's arguing with referee Danny McShane that McShane should tell these people to stop beating their hands together and encouraging Alberto Madril. McShane is smart enough to know where his limits are, and he's well aware that those limits come when he tries to tell the crowd anything. Outside, Dick Slater. That's the way Madril gets this crowd going. You can hear him literally barking like dogs all over this place as they try to irritate Slater. And Slater, smart. He may be young, but he is a veteran in skill, and his maneuvering in that ring and trying to shut off these fans and to not go after Madril while he's being antagonized illustrates that he's not going to be bugged into anything. So Alberto Madril moved in, tried to upset Slater's routine and failed. He's going for an atomic drop, dropped him on his knee and on that cold, hard Coliseum concrete, and right into a chair in which lately a policeman has been sitting, and he's hoping now that's going to keep Madril out on the floor. McShane tolling the count. Fans giving it all toward Alberto Madril, trying to encourage Madril, and Madril has been thoroughly encouraged. You see him as he comes up, he has some of that encouragement in his hand. The encouragement has 4 legs, but Madril now has decided that he has lost the element of surprise or attack, and the crowd here is now getting after Slater, and they are really vocal and noisy. Madril outside, and Slater crowding just a little bit too much. Nice move by Alberto Madril. And he's giving Slater as good as he was getting. Whoops, sleep hold. Tough spot for Alberto Madril. Dick Slater come in there to apply the sleep hold. Whether or not it's a strangle is hard to tell. McShane examines. Does not break. Tests. The test is to see whether Madril is asleep. Holding that hold too long after it has taken effect will damage the brain by a lack of oxygen. And evidently Madril has not lost consciousness, and McShane has been able to discover this and to permit the match to go on. Slater now losing his hold, losing his grip, and he snatched him by the hair that time. Oh, good move by Madril. Tough customer, Dick Slater. And Alberto using that chopping blow coming down across the nose and the mouth can, whoops, just when I was talking about coming down across the nose and mouth, he come up there with that left and literally drove his teeth out. So Slater hung up for the moment, but he faces a worse fate as Madril stays close to him. And Madril gets a lot of enthusiastic support from these fans as the 5-minute mark is called. He's on top. There's 2. He needs that equalizing fall. He almost got it. McShane said no, it was just a 2 count. And here is Madril. There's 1, there's 2, and there, whoa, he just barely got out from underneath there, and some of the fans are bugging McShane. They think that a good fast count should have been in order, and at that time, outside, on the floor, Alberto Madril, the same stunning blow, and it put Dick Slater down in one direction, and it put Alberto Madril outside that ring. Madril avoiding that deftly, and woo! He was driven arm first and shoulder first into the into the ring post. And here is Slater looking for, and here is Madril wrapping him up. There it is, a 3 count, and Alberto Madril is given the count of 3, and he is whipped through the ropes, and he is put, but he is knocked out of the floor, and the winner of the second fall, the equalizing fall, is Alberto Madril, but he took a bad spill on the concrete, a hard fall. He had injured his shoulder up against this ring post, and he is lying on the floor, still holding the shoulder. So up in the ring, Danny McShane gets back in. We are still in the intermission period between the second and third falls. Madril on the outside of the ring holding that arm and that shoulder. After being run into this ring post, he was still able to
1 minute.
not only avoid defeat by Dick Slater, but he was able to pin Dick Slater with that small package roll up, and you can see the solicitous move of Irish Danny McShane, who knows how it feels to hurt an arm or hurt anything else in that in that ring. So Slater is anxious to get at Alberto Madril. We have a little more than 30. There are 30 seconds left in this intermission period between falls, and McShane examining Alberto Madril, and evidently Madril
15 seconds.
has an injured deltoid muscle or the bone. It's a little hard to tell. It's up a little bit high right on the edge of the shoulder.
2, 1.
And McShane, as the bell rings, wants to examine that, and he is not. He is. He's going to stop the match and give it to Dick Slater. And some of the people who would fight to the last drop of Madril's blood say no, 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 and McShane has made the decision to stop this match because of the injury to Madril's shoulder. And that is it as far as the third fall and the match. You notice that Madril is not objecting too strenuously. He is here. He knows that he's hurt. Up in the ring, you see Bruiser Brody demonstrating to some of these fans his way of training against the Iron Claw, as strange a method as I have ever seen demonstrated in my life. But just look at the thing as he screws this vise onto his head, and the strange part of it is he seems to enjoy it. He looks to me like he will be enjoying it. All right, up in the ring is Boyd Pierce. Let's pick him up.
Semifinal, ladies and gentlemen, 2 out of 3 falls with a 45-minute time limit at 265 pounds from Austin, Texas, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. And his opponent with a vise in his hand, the American heavyweight champion, who will defend that belt next Friday night against the former champion and Iron Claw master Fitz von Erich at 325 pounds from New Mexico, Bruiser Brody. Your referee, Bronco Lubitsch.
All right, you've got all the details. Dusty Rhodes, Big Dust from Texas. And he, of course, is the boy who will tell you that he pulled himself up by his bootstraps, and that he has made himself what he is today through sheer hard work and determination not to be kept down. So it's Big Bruiser Brody, tough a customer as ever, stepped into the ring, and a big, big man. So the match now, the first fall starting, and doing the crowding is Brody, who has showed a definite respect for the style of Dusty Rhodes, and Dusty makes the most of it. This crowd really gets with him. But come to think of it, I said this crowd. Reports from all over the nation indicate that Dusty Rhodes gets with it with fans everywhere he goes, and the style that he uses has really made him the darling of every group of wrestling fans, no matter who they were rooting for. So Brody, look at the solidness of this guy. His legs right down into those big boots of his. 325 pounds of toughness, and he lays it in there, and this is a non-title match. Bruiser Brody is the American heavyweight champion as this match takes place, but his title is not at stake, nor is his belt at stake. And the dust, the big dust, as he moves around that ring, has a lot on his side, and that's counting each and every fan here in the Coliseum. And this is Bruiser Brody at his toughest. The way this man hauls up with those kicks, tremendous. And whoa! The wind-up and the pitch, and he exploded with that elbow against the head of Bruiser Brody. And if Brody's been squeezing that vice into his head, it sure didn't do any good to strengthen it for the kind of blow that he just took on top of the head. So Brody, halfway up the aisle, gets a 20 count, just as much of a count as he would get if he was laying out on the floor here. But it's just hard to say what the big fellow's thinking about. He caught a blistering right hand right down on the right elbow, rather, right on the top of the head. His second has been shouting the count to him. Now he's listening to Bronco Lubitsch as he tolls the fateful 20. Bruiser Brody. He's not so sure that he wants to move in on Dusty Rhodes. The twist is on the arm. You see Dusty Rhodes as he maneuvers around to try to keep Bruiser Brody under control. He sharpens that elbow and he lets it fly, and we've got trouble for Bruiser Brody now as the twisting arm lock is put on, and Dusty looks for an opportunity to make it stick. Would you talk about using an elbow? Would you get that 325-pounder driving that one down there? You are really stocking up some TNT right at the point of that elbow. Bruiser Brody looking to plaster Dusty Rhodes down into the canvas. Dusty is one of the top name stars in the nation, and beating him would be a feather in Bruiser Brody's cap, despite the fact that he is the American heavyweight champion. So the Bruiser lashes out with that right of his, and Dusty was on the receiving end. Crashed in there, crashed hard. He's finding it. Hard lashing into the turnbuckle at the 5-minute mark as Dusty Rhodes now tries to hook up the Bruiser, but he'll never quite hook up 300 pounds. I want to tell you, oh, as he draws that leg back, these fans give a sadistic roar of approval, but Dusty hesitated, as well he might, before delivering the blow, and that much of a weight handed Bruiser Brody the opportunity to get out of it. Brody again, he follows through with that foot. He drives the foot forward with a kick and keeps his weight right in behind it. And he has literally plastered Dusty Rhodes. There's a fall. So the first fall of this match goes to Bruiser Brody. There it is. It's his first blood. Well, the bell hasn't sounded, and Bruiser Brody is waiting for Dusty Rhodes to come into the ring. But look over to the right. Dusty Rhodes has come up, and he is now sneaking around to this side of the ring, the far side, as Brody waits. And the bell sounds, and here is Dusty Rhodes coming up with a sneak attack and laying it into Bruiser Brody. And Brody is smashed all over the concrete here, and here comes Dusty Rhodes with a 2x4 and a formidable weapon if ever I've seen one. The driving elbow of Dusty Rhodes, and here is the big dust descending in a cloud on Bruiser Brody. He did it. Dusty Rhodes evens the score on Bruiser Brody. This is one time that the American dream was full of unparalleled success. We're going to stay right here and watch during this brief intermission period as Dusty Rhodes makes sure that when Bruiser Brody rises up there again, he is going to let him have it. And some of the fans are hollering for Bruiser Brody to be body slammed by Dusty Rhodes. And Dusty is smart enough not to meet Bruiser at his own specialty, which is making himself just a little bit too heavy to be crash landed on the canvas. So the Bruiser, with 1 minute to go in this rest period, sits over there wondering what happened and what hit him, and not finding the answer to either one. Dusty is more than ready, and referee Bronko Lubich telling him to wait. Bruiser having his problems over there. I think his second is trying to explain to him what struck him. The time is running down, 30 seconds to go, and Bruiser is telling referee Bronko Lubich to make him step back to give him more time, and he's trying to shake some of the cobwebs out of his head. Now the fans are really rooting for the man with that charismatic style, and as the bell sounds, he's ready. So the Bruiser, who is still trying to figure it out, keeps catching it right square on the nose. Well, our alert announcer, Boyd Pierce, managed to get out of the way, and so did our agile timekeeper, Mike Williams. So we've got Bruiser on the concrete, Dusty trying to get him back in the ring where it can do something to him, and he smashed him into that table. That's an unyielding objective. Pure innocence. And as Bruiser comes back, he's a little bit upset and a little bit the worse for wear. But this is the third fall of this match, and it has not yet been decided. And Bruiser Brody caught a two-handed wallop that time, the old axe handle blow. But missing one the way he did then, with his driving force coming down and missing his target, can really take the steam out of you. Now, Dusty, a little bit the worse for wear for his running into Brody that time so soon after he had taken a lot of punishment. But right now we've got Brody up, we got the Bruiser ready, so it could be a tough spot for the Big Dust. There comes that driving foot of Brody again, and Brody, I can see the look on his face, is a little bit the worse for wear here, as he has not yet risen from his knees, but he knows a dangerous moment when he sees one, and this driving wallop into the head of Dusty Rhodes is all pure gain as far as the Bruiser is concerned. The dust is up, and he is giving Bruiser a taste of his own medicine. Drop kick and a beauty. And look at the style on the Big Dust from Texas. Fans giving the thumbs down for Bruiser Brody. Well, we're in the Coliseum. They're acting like Romans, and they are giving Dusty the okay to do anything he wants if he can. Class. And with the Bruiser now trying to rise up to his feet to get ready for Dusty Rhodes. Rhodes is getting the word from the fans. They're telling them move in, move in. Hard to find a man who gets more reaction out of fans than the Big Dust. He's got them right in the palm of his hand. They love to cheer him on, but right now he needs it. Brody trying to set him up. Tell you, with the weight that this man has and the power that he has, when he swings that arm of his, he swings it hard. Caught him with that driving foot of his. Hard, solid wallop. Trying to set him up again, and set him up he did. And this could be it as far as Dusty Rhodes is concerned. That's a 325-pounder who was stretching him out on the canvas, and Dusty just raised the hand that time and waved to his fans to let them know that he was still in this fight. And in the fight he is, as he starts now to wail away at the midsection and the jaw and the whiskers of Bruiser Brody. Notice that hand of Dusty Rhodes. He's waving it. The fans right behind him. And now that Dust getting his dander up. The 5-minute mark is reached in this third and deciding fall. And Bruiser Brody threw him over the top rope. And we're going to have a fall called against the American champion. He has been disqualified in this battle here. And the fall is going to go to Dusty Rhodes. You see Brody hanging him up in the ropes. Rhodes has, Rhodes is cementing his disqualification. I guess he figures he can only lose once, but he has lost this verdict for throwing Dusty Rhodes over the top rope. And Rhodes, I don't know, Bronko Lubitsch has lost his effort to get this match under control, and Dusty has picked up the U.S. American belt, and the winner is Dusty Rhodes. this was a non-title match. He who has the belt is not always the champion. We'll be back here in a moment after this word from the studio. As the bell sounds right after that countdown, and this crowd joined enthusiastically in the countdown, Ivan Koloff has been to his feet, but he is having trouble with his shoulder, and Bruiser Brody is after it. That right arm of Ivan Koloff has not been functioning during the intermission period. And, oh, man, how he hit, and this could be it right here and right now. He smashed over not only into the turnbuckle, but the iron part of it, and part of him hit that ring post above there, and he is in a tough spot. The big American-made boot of Bruiser Brody descending on Russian Ivan Koloff. The man who is going to bury all American wrestlers is right now wondering when the funeral ceremony is going to take place and if he's going to be on the wrong end of it. Fans are telling Brody what to do, and Brody here is enjoying the fact that they are so solidly behind him and following his every move. Koloff is outside. Bruiser goes around the ring, just over here to my left, to slam the Russian into the ring post. Ooh, I tell you, you meet that ring post head first and you're in trouble. But Brody just reached down and grabbed a rope from under the ring. Somebody untied the canvas tonight and threw the rope under the ring so they'd have it when the ring had to be put away. And now the crash into the ring post has brought blood from the head of Ivan Koloff, but he's fighting back. No matter what you say about him, you've got to say that he is not an easy man to beat. Brody after him, and oh, how he slams into him. Brody now getting in there to finish the job on Ivan Koloff. He's got the Russian bleeding. He's got the Russian hurting in the shoulder, hurting in the leg, and he just got the Russian kicking him right square in the face. And here comes Koloff. He found his target. This could be tough on Brody. Bruiser underneath. There it is. Bruiser Brody has just had the Russian land on him. And in a little over 3 minutes, this second equalizing fall goes to Ivan Koloff, and the crowd, which was yelling so vociferously just a few moments ago, is respectfully quiet, and all of them hoping that when the bell rings for the third and deciding fall, that their idol, Bruiser Brody, will be back in shape and ready to go. Well, Brody is still down, and Koloff is trying to get by referee Branko Lubich. There's a minute left in the rest period between falls as Lubich stands between them in order to give Brody a full opportunity to rise up to his feet. Koloff looking now for a new method of approach, and Brody is up. First time he's been up now since the boom descended, and Koloff landed from that top rope and placed him flat on his back. There's the Bruiser. Now the bell has not yet sounded, but we've got Koloff opening up. There is the third fall starting, and starting badly for Bruiser Brody. Koloff impatient, and ready to leap off that top rope. Ooh, he takes chances. He came down there, and that weight came from high in the air to strike at Brody, and this could be it. If Brody is counted out, we could have the third and deciding fall winding up right here and right now. He's hurt, but he's going after him, and there was a time that Brody put his best foot forward and put a stop to it. They're exchanging, and that, of course, is great for Bruiser Brody, because he'll give any man a fair shot to get a fair shot, and he'll come out on top. And Koloff caught one right squarely on the jaw that time. Koloff's in trouble. He's in more trouble than he has been in the Houston ring at any time. This is the fall that makes the difference. They each have one. We are now looking for the deciding fall with Russia, and we can't say Mr. USA. We will surely say Mr. USA personified in Frank Brody, the Bruiser. So Koloff got out from underneath. The fall was close, but Brody himself, as he came in, used that as more of a means of wearing him down. He's got the foot. He's got the advantage. He's got Ivan Koloff where he can do something about it. He spun him around like a top. Brody pursuing him and laying it in there. Like the proverbial ton of brick, I'll tell you, he landed with a crash, and a shuddering crash. Brody, again, looking for the opportunity to give him the kind of punishment that won the opening fall of this battle. Brody, and you can't fault what he's doing now. He's trying to make sure of it. He's going for a head snap in there, and he jerked down with his 300 pounds to fall away and snap him up against it. So Koloff's in trouble. There was an empty chair, and Brody hates to see empty chairs. He's measuring Koloff for everything, and there he measured him to wear the steps. So Brody now punishing Koloff with the same weapons that Koloff has used so often. And now Brody crawls back into that ring, ready and prepared to finish him, if he can. Power of Brody. And there's fans who are pleased with that power, who are screaming for that power, and want that power to prevail. Koloff there's Brody again with that unique slam of his. He gets him up high with it, and that's what counts. And he looks at those fans as much as to say, I'm going to give it to this guy now. And this could be it. There's one. There's two. Two. Brody thought he should have had a 3 count. But he doesn't bellyache too much. He gets out and sets out to finish the job. Brody knows that the process of beating Koloff is going to be a wearing down process. Bad move. Brody ran into trouble. He hit that time into the ring post, and he's got the shovel. He's got the shovel and down into Brody's face and down on his head, and we're going to have Bruiser Brody, the winner here on a disqualification, as Ivan Koloff came off that top rope with that red shovel of his, the shovel with which he is going to bury all Americans, and he will we've got Bruiser Brody in tough spot, but the winner of this match. He is lying on the canvas, and he is the winner of this battle as somebody brandishes a flag and Koloff brandishes the shovel. We'll be back here in a moment. Well, you see the crowd gathering around the ring and giving a vociferous welcome to TNT, Tony and Tiger. All the fans, look at that waving sea of pictures and programs and autograph books. But Conway Jr. and Tony Atlas most certainly here are centering their thoughts on the opposite side of the ring where Colonel Buck Robley and Tank Patton are ready. But here is Bruce Pritchard to introduce
event, ladies
this
and
event.
gentlemen, 2 out of 3 falls with a 60-minute time limit. Introducing first, in the red corner, the team of Colonel Buck Robley and Brass Knucks champion Tank Patton. Their opponents, in the blue corner, the team of TNT, Tiger Conway Jr. and Mr. USA, Tony Atlas.
So this should be quite a tag team battle. There is certainly no love lost between Tiger Conway Jr. and Buck Robley and Tank Patton. But Tony is into this event at the request of his friend Tiger. He flew in from California where he's been training for the Mr. America and Mr. Universe contests. And Tony has told the Tiger that he's with him all the way and he's going to stick with him all the way. The referees, Eric Mannheimer and Nick Kozak. So the rules are being explained to them, repeated to them, reiterated, but they very rarely stick very long with either Tank or the devious one, Colonel Robley. Now we've got the first fall started, the bell sounded, and Tiger Conway was going to step outside, but when Buck Robley decided that he was going to come in, Tiger wanted a piece of Buck Robley. This match could turn into a single scrap between Robley and the Tiger. They are aiming at each other. But Tony Atlas, while he is perhaps not as heavy as Tank Patton, who comes in about the 325-pound mark, he certainly has it distributed in his body better than any athlete I have seen in wrestling over the past 50 years. Not only does he have the muscle, it is useful, it's capable of bench pressing almost 600 pounds. It is capable of some moves of tremendous dexterity inside that ring. He is as agile as anybody I've seen. And right now, the war between Tiger Conway Jr. and Colonel Buck Robley breaks loose, and give and take and give and take and rock him and sock him, and down goes Buck Robley. Tony is letting Tiger get the revenge that he wanted at both of these fellows, and he is handing out a tremendous amount of punishment. Robley made the leg dive for self-protection, but he is caught now. Well, he was clobbered. Oh. That arm, you can't compare it to a 2x4 because most certainly the arm of Tony Atlas is 22 inches around at the bicep. And Robley catching it where he can afford to get it the least, right in the head. Crotch, lift, and then the atomic drop for Tiger Conway as he blasts loose at Buck Robley. Tiger caught one that time. He caught it right squarely in the line of the belt. And as Tony comes in, a headlock is a logical hold for him because with Tiger using that headbutt, it surely shapes up the head of the Colonel so that he is going to suffer from continued punishment. Tony with that big bear-like hug of his, and Tank Patton almost made his entry into the ring that time. He thought he saw Tony's back unprotected and he was going to spring for it. The big squeeze as Tony uses it. And crotch, lift, slam, kick, and that's what I mean about that muscle man being agile. And in comes Tank Patton. Whoa! Atlas, beautiful coordination and timing. And listen to the uproar, the absolute uproar here in the Sam Houston Coliseum in Houston, Texas. Fans roaring their approval of Tony Atlas. Tony has won the Mr. USA contest once, so his aspirations to go into the Mr. Universe and Mr. America contest are well-founded. Conway, with that use of his head, uses it sometimes in the leg, sometimes in the midsection, and sometimes in an out-and-out headbutt. On bar as Atlas snares him. 5 minutes have gone by. On bar, the fans start to roar for Tony. And Patton's in trouble. He wants to go on the attack, but he's not sure what's going to happen to his arm if he does.
1, 2, 3, now.
Patton now pounding into Tony Atlas and looking for help from Colonel Buck Robley. Robley supplies the battering ram and holds it in there so that Tony was kneed right squarely in the solar plexus as they come in that time. You see Colonel Buck Robley trying to cut Atlas in half, and Atlas catching more punishment than he has had to this point, but he just threw him away. He just heisted that 270 pounds up in the air and threw it away. Bear hug as Colonel Buck Robley applies what he thinks is his best hold. Now listen, TNT, TNT, Tony and Tiger. And Atlas, the big squeeze around his midsection. Again, used his head, and He's trying to get that back working again, but he should have moved over a little more quickly to his partner. It was time for a change, and Tony was caught before he could take a step in the right direction. And Tank snaps that bear hug around there and does a good job of it. So they're putting the big squeeze on the midsection of Tony Atlas. Look at that arm. Tank got his head out of the way. He got it underneath the arm. He's putting the pressure in there solidly. And Atlas, with that squeeze being put in there, makes breathing difficult. From where we are, we can see the big, broad muscles of his back as he tries to marshal them in a manner that will give them all at once. But now he is moving his torso even more so and managed to get out of trouble. So Tony Atlas tried to maneuver that time, but he didn't quite make it. There is a touch by the Tank and his partner. It brings Buck Robley in, and they go for the crotch, the lift, the slam. And now the fans start to use their nickname for Colonel Buck Robley, whose yellow shirt has an inscription on there that declares that nobody calls me yellow. This crowd does it as one man. They scream, yellow, yellow. And Tony Atlas trying now to use brute strength to bust the bear hug, and busted he did. And Tony now is upset, caught by the leg, and maneuvered across that ring. Here comes Tank Patton in. Robley's going out, nursing his back, and Tony Atlas is racked up into the corner, but he's coming out of it. And he is coming out of it beautifully as he starts to punish Tank Patton, and in comes Tiger Conway Jr., who blasts away at the midsection of Patton. 10 minutes have gone by, and then as Robley comes in, he is decked in solid fashion. And the Tiger, who came into this match with a full head of steam, is uncorking that full head of steam for all he's worth. And Tony Atlas is letting the Tiger carry on because he's doing a great job in there, and he doesn't want to go in and steal his glory. But now he is taking care of Tank Patton. So Buck Robley goes out. Patton stays in. Tiger sets him up. Let's see who's setting who up. Well, that left arm swung out there and come under the chin and knocked the Tiger's head back. And we now have...
First ball, 10 minutes, 54 seconds. Tank Patton and Buck Robley.
So we have a fall for the team of the Colonel and the Tank. That bell starts fall number 2 as Tank Patton comes in and attacks Tiger Conway Jr. The Tank, of course, is trying to maneuver so that he can win in 2 straight falls. He's a man with a lot of wallop, and that arm of his, which wears a cast, it makes him doubly dangerous. There's one, there's two, and well, this fall was almost over right then and there. In comes Robley, and now in comes the toughness of Tony Atlas to try to force the issue because he didn't think Robley belonged in there. So Robley that time laid the back of his arm into Tiger Conway Jr. And there's a neck breaker. And on top is Colonel Buck Robley. Now the crowd starts the concerted chant. Just listen to that roar there as they scream yellow, yellow, yellow. As Conway is racked up into the corner going for a pile driver, but he hasn't got it yet. Whoa, nice work by Conway. And Conway is close to Tony, but he has not yet touched him. There is the touch. In comes Tony, and they go to work on Buck Robley. Walloping and driving, and in comes Tank Patton. And somebody's got to go out. We've got two men from one side in there, but Tony's doing a good job of handling both of them at the moment. Hard landing, and as Tony goes in, takes a back body drop, front headlock, and then a back body drop. We could have a fall. And Robley oozed his way out from underneath. And Tony goes in for a bear hug, and that's the hold he wanted to get because it's the hold with which Robley punished him before, and he puts those 22-inch biceps around there. He adds the huge forearms, and he's got plenty of weapon with which to squeeze. He just lays it in there with a good, solid, tight squeeze, and Tank Patton was starting to climb up on the turnbuckle. There's the bear hug, and I want to tell you, if ever a man was worth competing against the bear in the application of that hold, it would have to be a guy like Atlas. One of the strongest men I have ever seen in sports, and I'm talking about all other sports except weightlifting. Usually, Tony Atlas came down and landed on the drawn-up knees of Buck Robley, who was trying his best that time to protect himself, and in comes Tiger Conway Jr. And Conway is looking for a chance to get even. He just about had it that time, I'll tell you. Patton comes in, and Patton meets trouble. Patton meets a drop kick for sure, and he is hanging on. Tank trying to set him up. Nice move by Tiger. Boom. He dove in there with a driving cue ball of his, and we have the equalizing fall. The equalizing fall. Now we have the third and deciding fall coming up as Tony and Tiger, TNT, encourage each other. So the countdown brought it down to the bell. Tank Patton is in the ring, and his father has come down to the ringside here to
add a word to it. And here we have Tiger Conway Sr. coming up behind us here to encourage Junior in the... There is a veteran of the wrestling game, Tiger Conway Sr. And there, that roar of applause now, and that great, great enthusiasm that the fans show for Tiger Conway. And he is slamming the arm of Tank Patton into the tank, giving him a taste of his own medicine. And there's the touch. It means that Colonel Buck Robley's going to come in, and Tiger looks happy. Matter of fact, both Tigers look happy as the so Robley comes out in what looks like a boxing stance. He made his first mistake. He took his eyes off Tiger Conway, and the give and take now. It's mostly the giving as Tiger just knocks him flat. And on the outside of the ring, we've got an enthusiastic Papa Tiger bouncing around there and trying to set an example for Son Jr. Buck Robley in trouble as Tiger falls on him. Tiger wants more, give him more punishment. And Robley caught that one square in the kisser. Oh! I tell you, there are a lot of educated and solid blows being thrown in there as Robley now puts a stop to it by getting the sleep hold. Robley in behind, the hold that can produce unconsciousness, putting the big squeeze on the head of Tiger Conway Jr. And as Conway just sinks down to the canvas from the effects of the hold, why, we got a private war going on between Tiger Conway Sr. and Tank Patton. Patton up on the ring trying to keep the veteran Tiger away from where he can give some advice and instruction. So Conway is showing these fans that he is still where he belongs. He's going for the small pack. He went for the 3, but he didn't quite make it. He got 2. In comes Patton, and Robley turns around to try to take an unexpected fling at him, and we've got the sudden reversal here. Tiger went from almost scoring a fall with that small package to the prospect of getting his block knocked off here as Patton tries his best to take advantage of the surprise of that kick produced. And now the Tank. Confident. Big. Ooh, he comes in there. There's 1. There's 2. And Junior got out from underneath. And the argument with the referee, Eric Mannheimer. Tank thought he should have had a 3 count that time. And now we've got them doubling up. And so with Tiger Sr. on the floor and Tiger Jr. in the ring, Buck Robley is trying to bring this match to a sudden halt before something explodes and brings it there without him. Listen to the uproar here as Tiger Sr. roars his way through the ritual of cheerleading. He's got this crowd following him for sure, and the crotch hold, the lift, he drops him on the top rope, 5-minute mark, and this 3rd and deciding fall as Buck Robley tries his best now to glue Tiger Conway down to the canvas. You can see the result, that long white boot made it to the ropes and brought about the call for the break. Robley, rather Patton, trying to set him up again, and a kick right square in the face. Here comes Tony Atlas, and Tony uncorks, unwinds, wallops. Listen to the crowd going woof with every blow, and I'll go woof myself because I can feel this ring shudder as Atlas lifts him up over his head. I told you he had power. He shows power when he can lift a man at this stage after wrestling through 3 falls. And again, Tony came in there to use his head and he hit the floor. Bounced right down in there and hit the, not the floor, but hit the mat. Hit the canvas. And Patton is trying to scream to he's trying to scream to the Colonel to get over there and get his hand touched, but Tiger Conway right now is going to take the second devious one and blast his brains into a different shape. Tiger Conway Jr. going for the Boston Crab. He's got the Boston Crab. He is trying to lay it in there, but Buck Robley is pushing, and there goes referee Eric Mannheimer. The Colonel drove Tiger Conway forward and crashed into the referee, and now Nick Kozak is around looking for his helpmate. And we've got things going on outside the ring with Patton. Now we've got Patton outside the ring again as he is knocked there, and Tony takes advantage of him, takes care of him. Here comes a chair as Colonel Buck Robley tries to lay it in there with a chair. So we've got a chair in the ring. We've got Atlas in the ring. We've got Robley in the ring. We've got Tiger Conway Sr. on the outside. We've got this match breaking loose in all sections. We've got the tank, and the bell has sounded. I don't know what the decision has been.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the third fall in exactly 8 minutes, both referees disqualified. Both teams. The match is a draw.
They have disqualified both teams. What the referees are trying to say is that the match got out of hand, that they lost control of it. And their decision in this battle is to disqualify both teams, all 4 men.
Don't draw. We don't want it to end like this. Come on back here.
So Tiger Conway is trying to coax him back into the ring, and there is no sign that they are going to be successful. The uproar in the ring and around the ring leaves the 3 of them without opposition.
Here's Bob Stevenson.
This event is scheduled 2 out of 3 falls with no time limit. Introducing your contestants in the black corner from Seattle, Washington, at 260 pounds, the current holder of the United States heavyweight title, Johnny Valentine. In the white corner from Hartford, Connecticut,
At 218 pounds, the originator of the Brack Snuff Trophy, Wild Bull Curry. Your referee, Dick Rain.
So this tremendous crowd here at the Sam Houston Coliseum gives Bull Curry a roaring welcome back. They have come back here to see Bull Curry in a get-even match with that man right there, Johnny Valentine. The man who put his son Freddie in the hospital. The man who pulled one of the nastiest tricks that have ever been pulled in any ring. We're off now for best 2 out of 3 falls or less. With Bull Curry now primed and ready, and Valentine knowing what he's in against, facing a man who can deliver. You see Valentine crowding as he moves in on Curry, and Curry trying to get free, and Curry is a distance wrestler. He's like the man who likes to keep his opponent backed up, and that time he backed him. He knocked him slithering across that ring. A beautiful wallop, and it brings a roar of protest from Johnny Valentine. So Valentine knows now, as he has known, that when one of those fists swing, they contact and they hurt. Front headlock now, and he turns it into a quarter Nelson that he is using to work on the arm. No, now it's strictly an arm bar. But Curry has that hand free, and when he has that hand free, he's dangerous. Listen to this crowd. If Valentine has a friend in the house, you can't hear him, believe me. But this huge crowd, the largest crowd to see a wrestling match here in 15 years, has come here to root Bull Curry home. He caught it right smack alongside the head and alongside the ear. You see him as he holds that ear rather gingerly. I know exactly how he feels. Curry now goes into that typical stance of his. The crowding is being done by Valentine. You see him as he tries to keep Bull up close to that corner and up against the buckle now, but those short, sharp blows. Curry on the prowl as he moves around. Listen to the roar of approval these fans give him. And Valentine now has been clobbered on both sides of the head. Curry shows no favoritism when it comes to letting those knuckles speak for him. Curry again, and Curry is veteran enough to know when to exercise caution and when to let fly. Now this is Valentine's effort now to meet Curry at his own game, but this front headlock could do it. You see him as he heists up. Valentine has the advantage of size and height to raise up on that head. Well applied hold, that front headlock. You see him as he hooks Bull's arm, hooks his own hand and wrist too. Raises up on it. There's the key to the hold. The way those two hands are caught. And the forearm alongside the jaw. Lifting up on Bull's head in crooked fashion. And Curry can't get going with the weapons that he uses best. There comes a nutcracker as Valentine now takes Curry's head and starts to twist it to the side. The head, the one arm high up there, but he decides to change, and you see the quick manner in which Valentine changed his grip that time. It's a reverse chin lock. Is it a strangle? That's up to the referee. He says move it. No, he says break it. And between breaking and moving, Bull has caught it, but the hold is broken. He's back in again for much the same thing. Now this time it's not a strangle. Reverse chin lock. Valentine favors this hold. He likes to wear a man down. You see him now as he gets across Bull's face. But at least Bull has no worry about what can happen to his face or the fact that he might lose some of his beauty. Curry has turned the hold. He has tried to twist around in toward Valentine to get closer to that arm, as Valentine is smart. Valentine is trying to wrestle the Bull and, rather than meet him in a fist flying contest. Five minutes have gone by. This is the first fall of a 2 out of 3 fall match that has no time limit. And now Bull is easing some of the pressure on his face. He's turning in there just enough to be able to relax some of that pressure. And Valentine shifts again as he steps over Bull's leg to move in behind and to hang on. Problems for Curry. And this is the way Valentine, of course, hopes to be able to beat him, to wear him down, to use that extra weight of his and to, whenever he can, cover up both the nose and the mouth and change it into a smother hold. Bull is trying to make sure that doesn't happen. Dick Raines getting down there to test. There you see him as he lifts that arm up to see if Bull has become slightly or totally unconscious. But Bull's moving enough in there to keep the blood flowing. You see him turning toward him slowly, trying to move so that he can do something about it. Behind that arm is the face of Bull Curry, and there goes a swinging blow. And when he puts a pump handle in there, it swings like a piston. And Valentine made a mistake. He moved in swinging instead of moving in grabbing. And that one mistake now is costing him as Curry latches on and a beautiful wallop. So the veteran Valentine is the one who made the mistake. He tried to meet Bull at his own game, and we're having the spectacle of Valentine stalling now to keep Bull Curry at arm's length if he possibly can, and Raines is telling him off. Anything to stop Bull Curry's rush was Valentine's motto that time, and he put it into operation. That's the Bull. And there is only one Bull Curry. That strange stance of his as he moves in, part boxing, part wrestling, and part Bull Curry. Now that's Bull against the ropes, and this is Valentine's advantage as he comes clobbering down. Oh, what a wallop. Bull is stunned. Valentine laid it in there with forearm, fist, and elbow. Covered a lot of territory, and he put a lot of weight behind it. And now the timekeeper's table, and this is where Wahoo McDaniels was badly damaged. As Curry catches. Laying him in there with a vengeance. There's Bull halfway up the aisle now as the second follows him, and the fans pat him on the back, shout words of encouragement, turn him around, head him back toward the ring. Ring announcer Bob Stevenson and timekeeper Bill Bailey have been scattered on all sides. Curry's on the outside. You see him as Valentine goes to work on him. He got him where he could clobber him, and Bull again now is off on the concrete. But if a session down to the cold concrete can be of any use to him in recovering, then this trip will be well taken. The trouble is, you come down, you hit the bones of knees and arms and elbows. And Curry wants to fight his way in from in there, and there goes a driving elbow, and he didn't make it this time. That's a cinch. There's the Bull as he moves up. Valentine catching, and here is a furious battle going on each side of the ropes, and Bull is going to get in this time. Rolling front headlock, and Valentine desperately went into a wrestling move that time. Desperately. And the first fall goes to Johnny Valentine.
9 minutes, 45 seconds, a 2-minute rest period in the ring. 9:45 is the time.
There's the bell, and up in the ring we are now, ready and set to go with Johnny Valentine, a fall ahead, moving in there to try to clobber the second fall right smack out of Bull Curry if he possibly can. And he knows an advantage when he sees it, but watch that left of Curry's, and that right. But Valentine now is exuberant over his success in the first fall, and he has walked right into Dynamite, and that Dynamite is swinging at him from all sides. Beautifully done by Bull Curry. And Curry has suddenly bounced back here, and this tremendous crowd is roaring him on. But Bull knows that he can't afford to make a mistake. He wants to get even with his Valentine, and ooh, right smack in the kisser, a beautiful wallop. Valentine is caught right in the snoot. Side headlock. Curry driving it home. And how he laid it in there. And Valentine has been clobbered down to that deck in no uncertain terms. And this crowd here senses that it is Bull Curry's advantage, and they are rooting him in there to do something about it. Watch that Bull. You've got to watch Valentine too. Here is one of the most dangerous people. Right on the, above the eye, he clobbered him that time. And again alongside the jaw. And Valentine is standing in there. You notice that what Curry's doing is measuring him. He's trying to cut him open. He was breaking down over the eye with those blows. And he has Valentine now clobbered right smack across the snoot time after time. Valentine is backing away. Bull Curry aiming at that target, again throwing those blows, and Valentine is in Trouble City right now. Listen to the uproar here as referee Dick Raines tries to keep Curry away from Valentine, and Curry is just as determined. And Curry has Valentine bleeding. And he's working on that cut. You see him lay it in there. And again, as he blasts away with studied determination, he is belting him over the eye and clobbering right smack in there with everything he's got. And when Bull Curry lets fly, look at that face of Johnny Valentine as Curry blasts him. Ooh, tremendous. And Valentine down like the proverbial timber. This crowd standing on his feet, roaring for Curry. Roaring for the crowd to count. He doesn't want this crowd, the count stretched. Raines is trying to keep the Bull back so that he can execute this count. And Valentine is watching closely. Here he is now, taking no chances, but he doesn't have the stuff to get up. There is a count down and out.
17 seconds to Bull Curry. The match now stands at one fall each.
Listen to that noise as Bull Curry pounds out the win in an equalizing fall by a technical knockout, if you will. He was under the ropes, but that didn't enter into it. We're going to be back here in a moment. We'll be back here right after we have this word. Dick Raines is examining the cut. This match may be over. No, we'll be back here right after we have this word from the studio. Well, 10 seconds left in this rest period. The Bull Curry's ready to go. Whether Valentine's ready to go is doubtful. 2, 1, and there is the bell as Curry moves in and blasts away. And here he is continuing that same furious pace. Keeping on Valentine, and this crowd is going crazy with the blood splattering all over. Here is all over me as Valentine catches those blows, and Dick Raines is trying to interfere, but he is not having any luck. There goes Curry now, determined to follow Valentine right smack out of the... Get back! We're trying to keep people here from injuring themselves by getting involved in this here, but Curry is determined that he is going to keep after Valentine and pound him. Dick Raines is tolling the count up in that ring. As Bull gets after him, chair in hand now, but the police got the chair out of the way, but he is after Valentine just the same. Spilling around here now to the opposite side. Both men have been counted outside the ring as they drive it home and drive us out of our chair area. Valentine bleeding tremendously, blasted loose, and Curry
Both
after
men have been counted out of the ring on a 20 count.
Danny McShane is trying to separate them. And now it's Dick Raines trying to separate them, and Bull Curry letting fly impartially with those driving blows of his on McShane and Dick Raines with the seconds moving in, and we've got everything busting loose here as Raines catches it, and there goes Valentine being grabbed by the police and snatched up the aisle, and Curry himself roaring in all directions as he moves first out into the crowd, then back into the ring. And listen to this tremendous roar of applause given to Bull Curry. The match has ended with both men being counted outside the ring. It was a draw, but draw or no, these people saw Johnny Valentine get the most tremendous battering of his life. And this is what look at this boy Bull. Look at these fans around this ring. Listen to this tremendous clattering uproar as everybody roars their approval of Curry. Curry shouting to bring him back and I'll murder the bum, racing from one side to another. And Bull Curry here now, he looks to me like he doesn't quite understand what has happened, but it has happened. And we tell you this, that as Bull Curry gets that approval from the fans, we'll be back here again. Wait, we'll stay right here. Put him in there without a referee. Bull Curry thinks the referee has interfered with him. Bull Curry is the guy making the noise here, and he says, put him in there without, he wanted this match without a referee. We'll be back here again after we have this word.
In the ring, we have ringside announcer Boyd Pierce introduce this next championship match to you.
Introducing this event for the American Heavyweight title and belt, 2 out of 3 falls, 1 hour time limit. Introducing first from New Mexico at 300 pounds, the challenger, Bruiser Brody. And across the ring from Singapore, 270 pounds, American Heavyweight title holder, the Spoiler, your referee, Bronco Lubick.
So there you have it, the introduction for this U.S. American Heavyweight title and championship match. It's the American belt being handed to timekeeper Mike Williams. Bronco Lubich will be your referee for this all-important title match. My name is Peter Burkholz. I'll be giving you the blow-by-blow description. It's a big must-win situation for both men, but it's for especially Bruiser Brody, who is ranked as #1 contender for World Heavyweight title, and he knows the Spoiler would like nothing better than to knock him off that top ranking. Bruiser's also after that American Heavyweight belt, a belt that he has held in the past and held with a great deal of pride. It's also a belt that becomes an additional bargaining chip to him. in his future negotiations for another world title match. But two big men. Big because Bruiser Brody is around 6'4", 6'5", and he weighs 300 pounds, and the spoiler is just as tall and tips the scales at nearly 275 pounds. It's going to be a big battle between two big men, so stay where you're at. It's 2 out of 3 falls. And the spoiler wastes little time whatsoever trying to work over this big Bruiser Brody. Watch that spoiler. He's a man who knows how to climb those ropes, and he uses it in his great arsenal of attacking. But Bruiser Brody is a man who likes to mix it up, and when he's got his power and toughness, it's tough to beat. Those wallops of Bruisers. He finds that turnbuckle a helpful ally. Remember, this is for the U.S. American Heavyweight title and belt. You're not going to see very many wrestling holds between these two big men. They take a great deal of pride in their rough and tough styles. That spoiler is a powerful individual, and he can throw those blows in just as Bruiser can. It should be an interesting match because both men not only know how to give out the punishment, but they have the toughness to take it as well. Outside the ring, Bruiser Brody lowers the boom. There's no other way to describe it. That ring post smacks Spoiler right in that left shoulder, and Bruiser takes after him with a chair. So both men equip themselves with a chair. Right next to us is Bronco Lubitsch, who's trying to bring this match back under control. He is going to have his hands cut out for him the whole battle. Now as the battle over the chair commences, you see Bruiser, Bronco, and Spoiler, each one's got their grip. Look at that strong upper body of Bruiser. As he tries to bring that chair down on top of Spoiler. And now he lets a crash above Spoiler. And it's right above us as Bruiser Brody's putting those big boots right to the Spoiler, who is still dazed from that chair. That is some of the savage action we expected from these two men. That's that King Kong body slam. And Bruiser Brody aims that knee, it finds its mark, he's on top. And Bruiser Brody, the winner of the first fall.
3 minutes, 22 seconds, the challenger, Bruiser Brody.
So the bell sounds starting the second fall of this championship match. Bruiser Brody won the first fall, and during the 2-minute rest period, fans here saw Bruiser Brody impatiently pacing the ring, and the Spoiler become deeply concerned. His back is against the wall. He is in a position he didn't want to be in, and that's one fall down to this big Bruiser. He goes for that claw, and Bruiser was able to catch it in midair. Whether Bruiser can be able to fight off the claw, you can see how close he actually came to Bruiser's head. As Spoilers, well, that kick could be a good way of getting out of that predicament. Right above us, you can hear the gasper when Spoiler grabbed Bruiser's throat. And Spoiler wastes little time this second fall trying to turn this match dead even with a quick second fall win over Bruiser. Spoiler uses that rope again, and he knows exactly how to use it. For someone who weighs 270 pounds, he's very agile and goes for that claw again. Watching a great shot as you see that claw inch closer and closer to Bruiser's head. The claw's on. The Spoiler has got his famous claw applied to Bruiser Brody. And it's a powerful squeeze, but it's going to have to be a powerful squeeze to keep a man as big as Bruiser Brody down. As Spoiler came down right across that head. He softened that head up with that squeeze, and he came down with that elbow, and Bruiser's caught in a bad way. Bruiser desperately trying to fight back, and he was able to block that claw. That's the last thing he wants right now, is to have that claw slapped on him again. Bronko Lubich continues to have problems trying to keep these two men under control. It's a tough job. It's a kind of match that's so important that either man probably doesn't want that referee to stick his nose into their affairs. They feel they're tough enough and rugged enough to work themselves out of any trouble they get themselves into. Talking about trouble, that's exactly what the Spoiler is receiving in the shape of Bruiser Brody's fur-covered boots. Bruiser going for this. Well, he's going for the clincher. It could have meant the American title, but now Spoiler has got the break he needs. A tough break for Bruiser, who seemed to be within just seconds of victory just now. Knows the Spoiler using that knee. We've got it. The Spoiler took advantage of the Bruiser Brody miss.
42 seconds, the American champion, the Spoiler.
So the Spoiler, the American champion, wins the equalizing fall. So this is it, the third and final fall of this U.S. American Championship match. The American champion, the Spoiler, the man in the mask, won the second fall. The challenger, the big and powerful Bruiser Brody, took the first fall with his King Kong body slam. But this is for all the marbles. The U.S. American Championship belt. Both men have won one fall apiece. It all rides on the outcome of this fall. Spoiler, perched on that top turnbuckle, comes down. This is the Spoiler at his very dangerous best, is when he can use those ropes, use his claw, use whatever he can to wear down his opponent. So Spoiler want to capitalize on the dazed Bruiser Brody, goes right outside the ring to join him. Bronko Lubich doing a good job of convincing the Spoiler to get inside the ropes. Now keep in mind, Bruiser Brody is allowed a 20 count while he's outside the ring, provided the referee is able to give him clear access inside the ring, which is something Lubich hasn't been able to do. So we've got the mic and the mic cord wrapped around Spoiler's neck. Bronko Lubich trying to break the hold, and Bruiser Brody is flirting with a disqualification here in the third fall. So Bruiser was denied access in the ring by the Spoiler, decides to take matters in his own hands. And he's dazed, the Spoiler, because that last blow by the microphone caught Spoiler upside the head. And Bruiser now, as he starts to aim those wallops and those kicks of his. And Spoiler nearly took Bronko Lubich's head right off his shoulders. Bruiser is going after the mask. You can see as he's trying to untie it, Spoiler has got that mask laced up tightly. He's got it over the chin. So a good shot as Bruiser tries to work that mask off the Spoiler, and the Spoiler prides the possession of that mask almost as much as the possession of the U.S. American belt. Bruiser's aware of this, but he wasn't aware that the Spoiler was setting him up. That Spoiler uses those ropes to add that extra weight coming down. And now the Spoiler displaying the ability and toughness that has enabled him to hold on to this U.S. American belt for so long. The claw, but the Bruiser was able to see it coming. Those kicks of Bruiser's has got to be taking its toll on the Spoiler. He throws that boot way back and lets it fly along with that wallop. And Bruiser Brody bearing down on the Spoiler, ignoring Bronko Lubitsch's count. It's been that kind of match, all three falls. Now Bruiser eyes over the Spoiler. He waited and drew that punch. Fans here in the Coliseum starting to encourage Bruiser on. They can smell an upset victory here. They've learned to respect the big Bruiser. He's a man who's a winner, and he does exactly what he says he's going to do in the ring. And then he says, when I go into the win, I win. But he's also up against a perennial winner in the Spoiler. Notice how these men reach back with everything they've got when they throw these wallops. They both have big, powerful bodies, and they want to use every ounce of energy in delivering that blow. We can see it on our side. Bruiser Brody's hair and beard is hiding it from Bronko Lubitsch. He's got that over-the-shoulder strap wrapped around Bruiser's throat. You can see Bruiser trying to breathe literally, and it's that shoulder strap that's wrapped around that's hanging him there. Bronko Lubitsch was blocked during all that, and the Spoiler could very well turn this into a win. He's got Bruiser now in that claw hold. Brings him down to the mat. We could have the pin right here. That's 1, 2, but no 3. Watch Spoiler, he's reaching over Bronko Lubitsch, trying to get that extra bit of leverage from the ropes. Bruiser is a big man to keep down there, as the Spoiler is trying everything he can think of to try to get this Bruiser down for the 3 count. Spoiler has got a powerful claw, and it's taken its effect on Bruiser, who now gives signs of a revitalization of that extremely powerful body of his. Notice how Spoiler again climbs up, trying to keep that claw hold, that leverage. But that slam will turn things around here. Bruiser comes out with that knee. Caught him right on the chin. We've got it. We've got a new U.S. American champion.
7 minutes, 5 seconds to the 3rd ball. The new American heavyweight champion, Bruiser Brody.
The crowd here at the Coliseum goes wild. Bruiser Brody has upset the Spoiler for the U.S. American heavyweight title. Bruiser Brody, the new U.S. American champion, in a hard-fought match. The spoiler gave it everything he had, but Bruiser Brody, there's a shot of the winner, the new U.S. American heavyweight champion, and still ranked as the top contender in the country. We'll be back with more wrestling action after these few good words from the studio.
This has been Wrestling Spectacular. Your host and ringside announcer was Paul Bosch. Join us again next week for more great wrestling action. Wrestling Spectacular was a sports feature presentation. This program was pre-recorded.